It's Big
In the World Wide Web, they call it internet, with different types of social media. Store the information sort of like encyclopedia.
Hey, what is up, you guys? Welcome back. So, we left off with the triggers and implementing the tech. So, today we're going to be doing a final overview of everything you need to check and make sure you have in place before you actually launch your funnel to live traffic. So, because most of this has been a demo, I'm going to go ahead and go over a live account with you guys. This is one of the Motivated Maniacs. We implemented the dual funnel system for her. So you can see from the dashboard all of the opportunities that have been loaded into her funnel so far. And so first thing we're going to check is the funnel. All right, so let's go to the funnel. The first thing we're going to do is make sure the domain is mapped. Now, how you map a domain on the platform is you, underneath the domains, you go to settings, domains, and then you can add a new domain here, and it shows you the records you need to point to. So you purchase a domain, or if you already have a domain and you want to use a subdomain, you could point your A record here, or your, if you're going to use a C name like www dot, or maybe go dot, or get this dot, imawesome.com, whatever your domain may be, this would be the C name that you're going to point to for that. And then once you map the domain, I do have a how-to video on mapping a domain specifically. I'll make it's included in the training. Just check the Google Drive that came with the dual funnel system. If you don't know how to map a domain, I'll have a video just for going through that technical bit. So we have the domain map. Let's just say you have the domain mapped. The first thing we're going to do is check and make sure all the funnels are going in the right direction, like all the steps, all the pages. So step one, this one needs to go to the next step of the funnel. So I'm just going to hit edit page. This form here, the redirect action should be go to next step. Right, and then settings, I'm going to check SEO metadata, make sure this is dialed in. Again, this is the preview that people see when they visit the website. Then tracking code, would make sure that the Facebook tracking code is installed. So again, you just go here to your pixel tracking and install your scripts based on what specific events you had. Right. Once that's all installed, then you move on to the next step. So we know for sure that form is going to the next step. Then we're going to go to the discovery session invite. So what this page, the goal of this page is to invite them to a session. So you can see here the pixel events are firing, they view content, lead is there, and then now they can schedule a time. So we're gonna see this button should take them straight to the booking page. Okay, and then this button should take them no thanks, and then this no thank you button actually drives them directly to the webinar invite. So this is where we invite them, and if they can say yes, then we'll take them to the registration page, which is here, right? And then, so for the booking page, what we want to check here is that the calendar is set to next step, because the survey is the next step here. So she's using Calendly, or I'm sorry, Schedule Once. So on Schedule Once, we just use the custom HTML element and embed. If you use the built-in calendar that comes on the platform, you would use the calendar element. Select whatever calendar you have. She doesn't actually have a calendar, but then the redirect action would be go to next step. Now, since she has another provider, we just, in that provider, we define the URL for that next step. Right, and then that next step is, of course, the pre-call survey. Remember, you're checking the same thing on every page. You're just checking SEO metadata, you're checking your pixel events, and you're checking to make sure whatever action they're supposed to take is actually working. So this is the survey, and we have the survey set to go to next step. Now let's say you just had a button on here. The buttons you can all define to go wherever you want as well. So the buttons you can, they can go to a website URL. They can go to a specific step of the funnel. You know, so this is how, like, the no thank you, just the whatever for now. That's how we're directing them to a specific page, or you can simply go to the next step. You know, but this is the survey, so on submit, we're going to go to the next step, so that's set. Her SEO metadata is set. And I know her pixel events are live. There we go. And then, of course, the thank you page, which should take you, it should have a call to action with, you know, a simple thank you video and a call to action to join your Facebook group or your YouTube or whatever your lead acquisition hub is, where you're driving all your cold traffic to follow you and your valuable content. That's what should be on the thank you page, and you just want to make sure that that link is working and going where it's supposed to go. Hers is a Facebook group, so obviously it's going to her Facebook group. Right, so once you've combed through the funnel and you know all the links are working, go into the next page, the SEO metadata is dialed in, and the Facebook pixel is set on each page. Then the last thing you want to do is check your triggers. Make sure all your triggers are in here. So here's her, they're all published and active. You want to go through each one and make sure whatever's supposed to trigger is set correctly, which with whatever is filtered out, you make sure you have your tag. And again, like I said, I'll give you the checklist that we have here, so whenever you're building your own out and catering it to your personal brand, you'll be able to build out those triggers and make them make sense for you. So you just want to make sure they're all active and ready to go, because if they're still in draft mode, they will not work. Same for marketing campaigns. You'll go through your marketing campaigns, make sure your different series are set up in here and published. Again, if they're in draft mode, they will not work, so you want to make sure that they're published and ready to go. On your campaigns, I want to go through campaign configuration real quick. Campaign configuration, you put your from name and your from address. This is where it's going to be seen as the from field, obviously, in the email that they get. Allow multiple means, do you want them to be able to opt into the sequence more than once? You know, like this might be important for like booking reminders, because somebody might book more than one appointment with you, so you'll want them to be able to get in more than one time. You might not want them to get in if they have a specific follow-up sequence and you want them to move through that sequence. It's up to you. Stop on response is just what it sounds like. Do you want to stop it if they respond to your campaign? An event start date, that is so if you have follow-up dialed in. So for example, the live webinar sequence, you'll see before, so like example, when they opt into the live webinar, you can see they've this confirms because it gets sent immediately, but then you can see before 48 hours, meaning 48 hours before the event they're going to get this. So the campaign configuration, you're going to put what is the date of that training, that way they get it 48 hours before. So that's how you use the event start date in the campaign configuration. You want to make sure all your campaigns are configured properly and published before you launch live traffic to it. So as long as your triggers are all built live and published, your funnel is gone through every single page. You went through every single page, made sure you had SEO metadata done, you had your pixel events set up, so it's firing the pixel events for you. And you can also do Google Analytics. I'm just not going to go into that for this training. Google has some very good write-ups on there. You would just install the Google code that they give you in the head tracking code here, and then whatever individual codes they give you in the same tracking code place on each individual funnel. So make sure your pages are all set, and then your campaigns are live and published. You can start running traffic to your funnel. The last thing I want to touch on is mobile optimization. So when you dive into your funnel, you can click on this little cell phone icon in the upper left corner, and it's going to show you the mobile view of your funnel pages. And you want to make sure this thing looks good on mobile, because 80% of traffic are mobile users. And each element there is, you'll see mobile font size, desktop font size. Right? The only difference is like images, you can't do mobile size and desktop size. So for an image or video, for example, you would just clone them, and then here under advanced on every element, visibility, you can make it either desktop only or mobile only, or completely hide it. It's up to you. But you want to go through and make sure it's mobile optimized and looks good on mobile. That's the final check that you do on your funnel page. But once you check all those elements, verify they're live, then you go through the funnel yourself. Opt in, book your own appointment. You don't have to purchase your own thing, but you can, so because you really do want to get the full user experience. You can always refund yourself or input the test stripe keys and test your funnel. The only problem with that is when you put the test stripe keys, it puts all your funnels in test mode. So I found it easier to just create a simple product and refund yourself, or make it a $1 product, so you don't have to worry about refunding yourself. However you want to test it is up to you, but it's important to test it so you can get the emails, get the follow-up, get the full user experience. So if you see anything out of line in that follow-up, you can go in and adjust it for yourself. Remember, it's not going to be perfect, so I'm going to encourage you to just go through it, try your best to get it together. And remember, you get a free session with me. So if you'd like, if by this point, everybody that opts in and jumps on the What's Next platform to build this, you all get a free tech session with me where I'll comb through your funnel after you've gone through the dual funnel setup, and I'll help you do a final tech overview and get this thing launched for you. So you just hit that link below and jump on my calendar, and I can go through it with you and make sure you get this implemented the best way possible for your personal brand. This is Big Marv. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. One love.